we're ready.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. We're going to kick off our first media availability of the day. We are now joined by driver of the number 42 Legacy Motor Club Toyota, John Hunter Nemechek, along with his teammate Erik Jones, driver of the number 43 Legacy Motor Club Toyota. Gentlemen, saw you guys were at UFC last night. If you could just tell us a little bit about what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, UFC was a lot of fun for me and Erik. Being able to tour the UFC Performance Institute was really interesting. I know a few of you guys have been able to tour the Toyota Performance Center, and being able to compare and contrast what they do at their Performance Institute to how Erik and I and some of the other Toyota drivers train at TPC was really interesting. There is a lot of crossover, a lot of things that we have as far as equipment and resources that they have, and then being able to train with Forrest Griffin, one of the legends in the UFC world, was really fun. Being able to somewhat spar against him was a really good time. I truly enjoyed it, and I mean, he's a legend, so being able to just be in his presence and chat and understand things that they go through, their mindset and how they prepare for fights, the recovery aspect, there was a lot there that we were able to see and dive into and ask questions about, and kind of do a little bit of a crossover from our world to theirs. So it was super unique, super interesting, and had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was cool to see, not only the tools they had, but some of the similarities were kind of interesting. Obviously, a lot different. They're going through a lot more with their bodies than what we go through, so it was interesting just to see their recovery and how they handled that. I don't know if I enjoyed the sparring very much. I was pretty scared to try to hit him in the face, like he told me. His eyes get kind of crazy when you start going. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm good. I don't really want to get hit in the face here. So, but it was cool. He was a super nice guy, and just chatting with him and learning a little bit about the sport. I honestly don't know a whole lot about the UFC, so it was neat just to see that side of it and learn a little bit more.
Erik, I think we should set up an octagon on the front stretch this weekend for post-race.
No, I'm okay.
Awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start right here in the middle.
Testing. Oh, here you go. This question is for both of you. I'm Roy from Skyview Sports. As far as the NASCAR is entertainment, as well as a serious sport, and I think the WW, or they consider themselves that. Is there any synergy as far as dealing with fans or the promotional side of the sport? I mean, NASCAR's really gunning for that side of the image, for getting drivers in the playoffs, for the TV productions. Do you see any synergy there?
Yeah, I mean, some maybe. I think it's a real different. I think it's really different for them. They don't have partners, and we're obviously heavily influenced by partners and what they need and want from us, and what we can provide from them. I think there's probably a lot of personality in our sport that's and some of the guys are pretty they're a little more out there than what they let out and maybe into the media. Not necessarily me, but some of the guys are, and I think the UFC is a little bit more able to embrace that at times than probably what we are. But I think their promotion and the way they look at things are similar. I think they're a similar. They are a bigger sport just because they're global, but I think with it, I would say that they are a niche sport, the UFC. I wouldn't say it's as mainstream as the NFL, right? So I think we share some of those similarities and those challenges of being a sport like that. But other than that, that's really all I see in it.
Yeah, I would agree.
We'll go over to Mark.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Guys, how difficult is it to kind of balance what you're trying to accomplish at the end of the season? You have guys out there obviously fighting for a championship, but you guys are trying to get something done as well, maybe a win, just improvement, whatever you're doing, and how difficult is it to maybe sometimes have to give up a little bit of that, maybe for the championship contenders?
Who says we're giving up anything, Mark? We're out here to win races. We're out here to do the best that we possibly can for ourselves, our team, all the men and women at Legacy Motor Club. Yes, we're not a part of the playoffs. Yes, we're not contending for a championship this year, but we look at it, at least for our 42 group, we look at it as an opportunity to go out and possibly spoil that, but also continue to try and get better. We've made a lot of improvements over the last 10 months, I would say, at Legacy Motor Club. At certain racetracks more than others, but we look at it as opportunity to continue to try and build our notebook and learn and trying going into next year to be a playoff contender, right? So these races are very important, especially with the playoff format, being able to excel in all of the playoff races if you are able to make it. So there's definitely asterisks next to every racetrack through the playoffs for sure. I mean, obviously, there's a level of respect there from the guys that are going through the playoffs and contending for a championship, and you don't want to be the one that makes a mistake and wrecks them and takes them out of championship contention, right? But at the same time, we're all here to race, and we're all here to provide the best possible opportunity we can for our team, ourselves, everyone that's behind us, our partners, and our team owners to go out and try and win races and put ourselves up front.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I see it a whole lot different. We're trying to obviously run the best we can. I think, tomorrow here, next weekend at Talladega, there's nothing really stopping us from winning here or Talladega, and that really would turn your season around. Whether I would love to say the 43 wins in both, but if the 42 and the 43 could win one of these races, it would be great for the company. So I think as far as that goes, that's that opinion. But I think you're kind of asking about the playoff guys and what that means for us. And yeah, you got to show a little bit extra respect. I've been on each side of it, right? I've been in the playoffs and had to race guys that aren't. And there's times where it's incredibly frustrating when that level maybe of respect isn't there. For me, I hope we're in a position where I don't see that we're a lifelong non-playoff team, right? I think we're trending to be a playoff team, and so if that means giving those guys a couple extra inches in the next 4 weeks so that next year maybe they remember that, I think that's the way I look at it. But I definitely would love to also, if we're in an opportunity to win a race, I think that changes a bit.
We'll come over here to the middle and then head over to Dustin, Zach, and Jerry.
Erik, UNLV Rebel Report. Just a question for both of you. I want to quickly touch base on what you were just saying about the UFC. Obviously, training under former light heavyweight champion Forrest Griffin, sounds like a really cool opportunity. But I saw you were laughing there with Sean Strickland. That's a guy that is never a dull moment with. How was that exchange like?
Well, I'm not saying what he said, but he was he was a nice guy. He was funny.
Yeah,
cool.
he definitely was. That was the second time I've been able to meet Sean, and like Erik said, they really don't hold anything back, let's say, as far as what they say and how they trash talk and things of that sort. They're able to embrace it a little bit more without having to, I guess, be aware of what they say for partners and things of that sort in representing their brand. So it was fun. He's a great guy. We got a chuckle out of what he said, let's put it that way.
Did he ask you to spar?
He didn't. I was joking with Forrest at the end after we got done with the boxing side of things that I wanted to go roll around with Forrest, and I'm not sure if he was nervous about it. He said he stopped rolling and whatnot a couple years ago, and he was going to go find Sean, and I backed out pretty quick. I didn't want to get my butt beat, so yeah, it was good.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Dustin Albino, Jason, kind of building off Mark's question, and I understand there's a month left in the season, but compared to a year ago, like how much better position do you feel like you guys are as a team?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in a lot better position right now. I think there's still some things to iron out and some issues that we have as a company that we're working on fixing. There's still some roles that are being decided and some people that we need. We have a lot of good leadership, a lot of young leadership and experience level, guys that are in positions they just haven't been in before, and so they're still learning and figuring that role out. Our engineering core is very, very young. I would say that's probably our biggest challenge ahead is just to grow that group and get them experience. I think they're all really talented, but they're just very low in experience. So growing that group out is really important. But, to say 1 year ago today, Sitting here, yeah, I mean, definitely a way better spot for me, and at least excitement level. I can tell you, a year ago today, I wasn't very excited to go to the track for the last month, but for me today, definitely excited to be here. All the races really left this year because I think we're going in a good direction. I think our cars are getting faster, and I think the people involved are in the right spots as well. So definitely, yeah, big turnaround from 1 year, and hope that we can just keep it going. It's kind of easy to. I've said this a lot of times before in our rebuilding process. If you show up at the racetrack and you're a half second off, it's easy to find that first 3/10. That's not hard. That's just building a little bit better car, having some good people. That last 1/10, 2/10, that's kind of the magic, and I think that's the world we're starting to live in a little bit.
Go to Zach.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. For either of you guys, this is the same tire that we raced at Kansas just a couple of weeks ago. What did you guys learn there that might apply this week at Vegas?
That's a very good question. I think we learned some things that work and some things that don't work as far as setup-wise. Things that we struggled with at Kansas that hopefully we can apply to our race cars here to make them better than we were at Kansas. We had really strong runs here in Kansas the first time that we came here this spring with a different tire. So trying to learn what this tire wants from a setup perspective, spring perspective, shock perspective, how it migrates through the run, the tire fall off, how they build heat or how they wear. You can definitely take some of those things into consideration for sure. So I think for us, being able to apply the things that we learned that didn't necessarily work at Kansas and trying going a little bit different avenue to make our cars better is what we're excited to see where we stack up when we unload later today in practice and qualifying.
Yeah, I think we probably leaned on some ideas that were a little bit different for Kansas just to try to get better, and they weren't necessarily the right direction. As far as the tire goes, yeah, I mean, it's what Harry Hogg's saying, Days of Thunder, it's slicker than a button, that trial. Well, that's what it feels like on the tire. It's just got no grip. So it's kind of the direction we've been going with the tires everywhere. We saw that at the Roval last week, and we'll see it here today. It's going to be hot and slicker than a button. So it's just different. So kind of trying different stuff to try to figure out what that tire wants. Migration's huge with it, trying to get that better. And some of that at Kansas is what led us down that road. But I think we learned a little bit what doesn't work. So try some different stuff here and probably go back a little bit on some other stuff.
Nice reference.
Yeah, I love Days of Thunder.
We'll come to the middle, and then we'll finish up. We'll come to Jerry, and then we'll finish up in the middle, and then with Chris.
Jerry Jordan, kickingthetires.net. Earlier this week, OD talked about the 750 package for next year. He talked about potential changes to the championship formats, things that we've all heard about. Now it sounds like these things are happening. What are your thoughts on what you heard earlier this week, and how can your organization prepare for those types of things?
I'm not sure how much different the 750 package is going to make a lot of the racing, but I definitely hope that it helps on some of the short tracks from tire degradation, tire wear, being able to manage your stuff and be able to show out, right? Who knows how that's going to work, right? Time will tell. But I'm excited for more horsepower. I think every one of us is from a driver's standpoint. With that being said, one of the areas where I feel like we've struggled as a company is short tracks and the small rear diffuser package. So definitely something that we're going to have to work on very hard over the off season, trying to put grip in our race cars and trying to understand that a little bit more from Americanized perspective as well to be able to get our cars better for next year. So I'm not sure really how it's going to affect us. May just make your handling problems worse with having more horsepower and tire fall off a little bit more, but it definitely can't hurt. So excited for the more horsepower package for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I go back and forth on this battle all the time, and I've seen it both ways in the sport, right? I've seen where we've taken it down to the whatever it was, 550 horsepower package 5 or 6 years ago, and when I showed up in the sport, it was, the first Cup race I ever did, we had 900 horsepower, and then we had 750 horsepower, and then we had 500 horsepower, and then we had 670 horsepower. So I ran a lot of different horsepower. At the end of the day, when I go to my local short track, my favorite race of the night is usually like the street stocks, and they're not very fast. So I don't know that going faster is always your answer to better racing. I think that's a bit of a myth. You know, maybe the bigger horsepower puts on a better show. I don't know. You know, it's a way different car, way different brakes and tires. So we probably need to just try it, because right now the road course and short track races, you know, I don't know what you guys think, but when I watch them back, not on the edge of my seat most of the time. So yeah, we definitely need to try something, and I hope it's better, but I honestly, I just don't know. I really don't.
Any thoughts on the changes in the championship and playoff?
What are they?
There's been about changing the way that the single race part.
Yeah, I think, well, I don't think anything's going to happen for next year. For me, I think the most fair way, you got to get 4 guys in a playoff, some kind of three race playoff setting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not telling you that's what's going to happen, because I don't know, but I would have to believe it's going to be something in that direction.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Luis Torres, TobyChristie.com. Erik, I wanted to ask a question. Knowing that Venturini Motorsports just wrapped up their tenureship in ARCA as far as the ownership side, you got it to be a small part of it. What is just the fondest memories that you have working with it back many years ago when you were working on the way up?
Yeah, you know, I didn't do a ton of races with them. They had just changed the age at that point in ARCA, and I came in and did a race as a 15-year-old, and that was a crazy experience. But you know, we won a race there at Berlin, which is one of my home tracks. That was really cool. Like growing up as a kid racing there and watching guys and then racing there myself, that was always like the big talk if you got to run the ARCA race and if you could, you know, win the ARCA race. The local guys there who were really successful always tried to run it and usually ran really well in it. That was a place that, especially then, if you were someone local, you usually did pretty well in that race. And so that was my fondest memory. We went there and won that one. Hometown win for me. It was a lot of fun. And one of my, I think that was 2013, so one of my bigger wins to that point, first kind of national series win. But yeah, I mean, I hope I don't know, I think Billy's going to get bored. He's a pretty energetic guy. I'm not sure what retirement, or if this is retirement for him or what his plan is. I'm excited, you know, for their future and what they got, but definitely that was my best memory with him.
The question was about Billy Venturini, or what?
I was at Venturini. I drove a couple races for him.
Yeah. I only drove one ARCA race for Venturini, and it was when I was running in the truck series with KBM a few years ago. We ran it at Mid-Ohio, qualified on the pole. It rained. I think I lapped up to like 4th or 5th. Should have won the race, and we elected to stay on wet tires instead of dry tires as the racetrack dried out, and I think we finished 5th or 6th. So a great experience being around Billy and Big Bill and that whole family. They've definitely given a lot to the whole sport. They've been around forever and have won a lot of races, have won a lot of championships, and I'm not sure what their future holds, but thank you to them is pretty much all I have to say for what they've been able to give back to racing in general. True racers at heart.
You never got a kiss from Big Bill.
I never did. I'm proud.
You'll have to live your whole life without that.
I'm proud to say that.
We'll wrap with Chris.
ChrisKnightCatchments.com. Erik, you mentioned a little bit ago that today is going to be hot and slick. Tomorrow there's going to be a 10 to 15 degree temperature difference. So how do you compensate for that, knowing the swing that's going to be much cooler tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, this place is pretty temperature sensitive, oddly enough, but you know, I think today you'll be moving around a lot. You'll see guys probably getting up by the wall, even in practice, I would imagine, or at least 3rd or 4th lane. And qualifying is going to be, I don't know, treacherous is the right word, but it's going to be difficult to know how much speed to carry, and it's going to be a fine balance, not carrying too much and ruining your laps. So that'll be pretty challenging today compared to what it was in the spring, which we were, I felt like we were at Talladega. So that'll be fun. Tomorrow, you know, with it being that cool, I think it's going to be probably on the bottom. I don't know, maybe this tire will move around a little bit more, but the wind affects it a lot too. It looks like we got a big, I don't see any flags, but I think we got a big headwind down the back today, which is a bit backwards for here, I think, with the weather and stuff that came through. So we'll see what that does for tomorrow. That'll affect it a lot, but it's going to narrow the track up tomorrow, I think, with the cooler temp.
All right. Thank you, guys, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks.